Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. On the call is myself, Morgan Gill, along with my colleague, John Lamb. Today, we're going over the latest updates that we recently implemented in the application on Sunday, July 30th. So this is just kind of the first webinars of many webinars that we'll be doing where we discuss kind of the latest updates. As always, please feel free to contact us directly if you have any questions. You can email myself directly or John, or of course, info@kineticcloud.com or support@kineticcloud.com. So with all that to say, I'll just go ahead and kick it off. I'm first going to start in the task overview section. So I just clicked on the tasks on the far left, and you're going to notice just a few changes. The first that I'm going to bring your attention to is the client is now listed next to the actual task itself, and then the actual opportunity or project that sits under that client. Now, actually, when you send out the emails, the opportunity or project name will show up in that email. So if you notice, I have Kinetic PM task notification for my Spurs headquarters renovation phase 1, and then any details that are about that task. The next is the comment length has been extended. So whenever you, write down comments, the text will actually wrap. It'll be a little bit easier to see. If you did try to send out this email and an opportunity or project was not selected, you will then receive a warning. Well, typically you'll see a warning.
I think that's the go to opportunity button.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you so much, John. My bad. So you can still, so to clarify, guys, what I just did is I sent the email, and it'll still send an email no matter if it's attached to an opportunity or project. But if I go to an opportunity with the actual opportunity it signed, it will take me there. But what John just was pointing out, that if I didn't have an opportunity or project next to this, so just give me a second. So if I had this blank and I press go to opportunity, it'll say, hey, I need to select an opportunity. The next one that I want to point out is just kind of an overview of all calendars. We added back in our weekends, so you'll see Sunday and Saturdays in all calendar overview. And then just one more little item on the task list is we had a little bug hiccup with tasks with the comments not saving. So now whenever you need to add in comments, so if I just add in additional comment, maybe if I learned how to spell today, it is a Monday, and I press enter, it'll actually save it. Before it wasn't saving correctly. So that is all the task overview. Oh, sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah, so the comments were always saving, but if you need to go in and edit a comment that you've already saved, whenever you type more stuff here, that's what wasn't saving, but now will save.
Sorry, thank you so much for the clarification. So what John was saying is that, again, if anybody didn't catch that, I misunderstood. I thought it was when you were adding a comment, but that was always saving. It was when you were actually editing a comment. So now if you guys just saw, I typed in editing this one and I pressed enter and it saved. So that's task overview. John, did I forget anything?
Nope.
All right. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go over to some opportunities really fast. Under quick opportunity create, one thing that we did change is a big feature. We changed the award date to be before the order date. So now it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Now, if I dive into a opportunity, one thing that we added that should be a little bit helpful is the project number So I can't have a duplicate. So if I tried to change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and I press tab, it's going to let me know, hey, you already have a duplicate of this project number. So that should be helpful, especially to those that actually, copy and paste any project numbers over from their accounting systems. What you'll notice as well is that we added in the delivery tickets and to the opportunity stage. One thing to point out is that the site contact isn't available at the opportunity stage for obvious reasons. You may not have that. But like everything else, anything that's created under the opportunity level that's then converted over to a project will stay intact. And once it's a project, obviously at that point is when you can add in the site contact and appropriate information of the GC or whoever your lead PM is, etc. Now, if I navigate over to RFIs, this was one little bug hiccup that we had to where the RFI log was not being generated. So now it is generated nice and clean. Voila. And then on our sales activities, the identified by has now been added to the column. And then of course you can also search by it if you needed to. These are all pretty clean, short and sweet updates, guys, just as a side note. The next part is under quotes. If I go into my quote that I have a detailed alternate, for those of you that know the difference between whenever I create a quote, it's going to show all of my line items here. But if I just were to create a summary quote, it just shows us our total. Now, when I press this, I'll have the option if I would like to either include it with alternates or without. If those of you are wondering if we'll make those buttons bigger, we certainly can. And I hope you guys understood that that was a joke. I know a lot of you guys are on mute. Here's our summary quote. Like I said, it just shows the overall total along with the alternate details. Then one other little item that we added for our quote is the ability to just capture our cost without a cell. So our little workaround here is if you have a $10,000 cost and you do not want it to be in the cell line, you can just make that 100% GP and it zeroes out the cell line. John, how about you provide a little context on this part as to why we did it this way?
Yeah, sure thing. So we got some feedback from users that they really wanted to input items here with no cell, and the reason for that was there's sometimes things that they don't pass through, or the more common case I think is for purchase orders. When some people are building quotes, they're just doing it at a top level line item, and then they go through and are putting in all of the detail after it's already been won, and or after the price has already been set. So they just want to go through and put all of their cost in. And when they put in their cost, it'll let you push all that stuff over to a purchase order afterwards. So we wanted to make sure that users who were doing that, we're still going to be able to do that.
Perfect.
So
cool. Yeah, thank you for that context. That's exactly what we needed. All right, so now guys, we were just kind of focused on the updates on the opportunities. Real brief on the forecast. We added in the architecture column. We received a few requests on that, so that's where that is. If I go to a project here, so I'm going to go to Tim Duncan's office with the Spurs. I'm going to kind of show you guys just a few updates that we added here. The first one is under schedule. You can now have 1-day milestones. I know this was a headache for a few of you guys. So if I just open this up, you'll see that my 1 day is on September 19th. It is a milestone. And more importantly, it shows up as September 19th down here on the overview. The next one is deficiencies. So under deficiencies, you guys are going to notice that you have a new column here called submitted. So there's a couple things I want to point out. The first is we have validate deficiency as well as submitted. When you validate a deficiency and it actually passed the validation, which again, similar to validation under orders, once everything is actually filled out correctly, it'll populate when this was last validated. So if I validate my deficiency and it says, nice work, it's ready to go, it captured the day and time that this actually passed validation. The next thing is that once again, now that I have all my information, I have probably dragged and dropped any appropriate images that I need to send off. Once I actually send off the email to my dirt bag and to whoever else, this will now say that it's been submitted. So now you guys can actually work off of deficiencies and then know which ones have actually been sent off to your dirt bag and those that are still being worked on. So again, it's either going to be set yes or no under the submitted column. Next, under billable items, this was an area that you guys have requested, was a signature block. So when you actually generate the billable Word document to send off to your either sub or whoever you need to actually get them to sign off on that they'll pay you guys back for this billable, here's your signature block. Next, I'm going to show you guys a little update we had to chargebacks. We had a user that let us know it's a little time consuming to have to add in a PID outside of the chargeback. So if I open up this and say maybe this particular chargeback isn't related to this PID, I can just simply add a new PID from within a chargeback, associate it to the appropriate mass number, which is also your contract number. Add a little note that relates to that PID, and then I can pull through the PID that I just added. So that's in regards to deficiencies, billables, and chargebacks. Before I exit out of the project management button, I want to show you guys that we did update the COM doors and hardware form to match the DIRT one. So again, you can fill out all the appropriate information that's necessary, and then you can add the additional custom details and hardware information. So as you do, it'll obviously show up on the PDF that you can send off to info@dirt.net, or you could send it off to your DIRT project manager, wherever you guys are in that process. Voila. And then one little item is also as well is that on the change order, when you override rows I and J for your fee percentage and bond percentage, the calculation will now be calculated off the subtotal plus the fee rather than just the subtotal only. So this was a little calculation that we updated for you guys. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory, but let us know if you have additional questions on that. But this pretty much covers it for the project management button and all the miscellaneous updates we had under here. The next updates are going to be under orders. So the first thing that we had is if you guys just needed to order overhead brackets, you can select yes, and that will override some validations for you, such as your project finishes and electrical details, items that aren't applicable to overhead brackets. So I'm just going to select no for right now. But now if I go all the way down to the electrical information and I select yes, what you'll notice now is that we added electrical notes. This area was not here before. So if you guys have different faceplate details or whatever else that you need to communicate to DIRT order entry along with your project manager, here's where you can do that. Another nice little update that we added is whenever you actually do submit this order, so I'm just going to say yes just so I don't have to fill out everything. So I have all the items I need for my overhead bracket order, along with any of my required files that I need. Whenever I submit the order now, my mobile number will show up on this order. So it says null, unfortunately, because I didn't double check that I had my mobile number assigned to my username. And if I did, so under my username or user account information, it's just this little person. I can click this. I can edit my mobile number, and then it will update appropriately. And then when you actually send off your order entry orders through the application, your mobile number will populate. So I believe that's all the application updates that we wanted to highlight on this. This was a pretty short little 20-minute video, guys. John, did I forget anything else?
No, I think that about covers it.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for all of your time. And as always, please let us know if you have any questions.